Hi, welcome back to Mexico. My name is Joli, and I am teaching today from beautiful Puerto Morelos, just south of Cancun on the Gulf of Mexico. And I have such a special class for you today. On the resorts, this is one of my absolute favorite types of yoga to teach. This is often what gets beginners started on yoga. Former athletes find this incredibly beneficial. And if you just have aches and pains in your body that you want to hang out and learn a little bit more about and receive some relief from, this is also an amazing class for you. It is going to be a restorative yoga class. You don't need much. We're going to come down to the ground, so if you need some assistance with that, have a chair nearby just to give you a little help up and down. Also a strap of some sort and some padding for when we get to the ground. So I actually grabbed the strap off of my bathrobe in my hotel room, and it works wonderfully as a yoga strap. You might also have a necktie around or the sash from a dress. Any of those things are fantastic. I grabbed some light padding from one of the chairs that are on the resort here. And this is really just if you want a little cushion under something as we get down to the ground. If you feel like something's not quite right, a chair, a towel, anything like that that can bring a little extra padding and comfort to your body. And of course, you always want to have water to drink and feel comfortable taking a break in any of the positions at any time. So we're going to get started by coming down to the ground, and pretty much the whole class will be down here today. Let's lower ourselves down in a class that's going to focus on what happens from our feet to our hips, and then how that connects from our hips into our belly and our shoulders. Really starting at the feet and the ankles today, opening those areas of the body up. That's your focus for class. Let's come down to a lying position. Letting our shoulders settle into the mat beneath our body. Feeling the front of our chest open naturally as our shoulder blades settle down beneath our body. And I want you to feel your hips also pressing down into the ground beneath you. Now let's notice that as we breathe in, it's normal for the front of our chest to lift. As we breathe out, it's normal for our belly to press down, and you might feel a little stronger in that abdominal area. That's an excellent thing to notice at the beginning of your practice. And I'd like you to stay with that. Just feel the breath in that lifts your heart and spreads your ribs open on your inhalation. And the breath out that follows the same path back and down, pressing through your abdominal area, coming into a natural, supported, what I will call core strength. That is the muscles that support you from your hips to your shoulders. They wrap around your spine, and they're naturally connected to your breath. It is so key to our yoga class. We will start by opening the joints and the muscles of our feet and our ankles. The strap is placed around the ball of your foot, and you're just going to extend your heel away from your body, finding an actual straight leg. That's why the strap is here. So we can press out through the heel, pull the toes right back towards the body. And then let's talk and think about our breath. Remember how it felt a moment ago? As you were breathing up to the ribs and down to the belly. In and out through the nose. That's going to be your yoga breath today. As you pull the toes back towards your body, you're feeling a stretch through the back of your heel. These are not going to be dramatic, fancy yoga stretches. I want you to focus on sensation today. Let's turn the toes towards the inside of our body. You'll feel a stretch on the outside of your calf. Let's stay and breathe with that. These are the areas of our body that create balance, that push us forward into our lives, that carry us. very strong areas, even primal. So that when we learned to take our first steps in this world, we learned how to push off of the ground with these areas. They're even pre-verbal. Let's take this back to center and breathe. You may feel very new sensations today. I invite you at any time to notice a sensation, to pull back a little bit, take a break if you feel like that's what's needed, and come back to that breath. Let's turn our toes towards the outside, heel towards the inside, and continue to pull the toes towards our body. Relieving tension in the calf. If you find that you're having a hard time finding the calf, that it's happening more around the thigh, try straightening your leg a bit more, using the strap to take it further away, and pushing out through your heel a bit more. And I really like to push out through the heel of my foot and the ball of my foot while pulling the toes back, because that's also going to activate the arch of my foot, which is very key for balance. Let's return our foot to the center, push out through the heel, and just breathe deeply and feel what's there. Remember the breath that I gave you, in and out through the nose, lifting the ribs, pressing out through the belly. Let's release the strap from our foot. We're going to take our hands around the front of our shin, or you're welcome to take that strap and just give yourself a little hand here. If everything feels good, let's try extending the opposite leg and pulling the leg in a little closer. You're stretching through the low back. And let's just rotate the toes outward and then rotate them inward. I'm hoping that you are feeling circulation moving into new places from your knee down to your toes, and that as you breathe deeply with your thigh pressing against the side of your waist, and that you're also feeling a little squeeze against the side of your belly. That's really good for your digestive system. And as you breathe deeply, you're opening up the low back behind that space. So stretching one side of your low back, as well as the side of your sacral joint, the side of your tailbone joint. Let's replace that foot to the ground. And we're switching to the opposite leg, taking the strap around the ball of the foot. And again, we're keeping the opposite leg bent to start so that we can really concentrate on what's happening from our heel to our knee. Pushing out through the heel, pressing through the ball of your foot, feeling the stretch even into the arch, and pulling all 5 of your toes evenly back towards the shin. So sometimes we have a tendency to let one side of our foot pull differently. I see this in my students where they'll pull their pinky toe towards the shin or their big toe towards the shin. And I want you to try and do that evenly, even if you feel like it's not quite as dramatic. Right? We're seeking sensation in this yoga class. Let's turn our toes towards the inside. Push our heel towards the outside. That might be a really small movement for you. That's okay. And we're feeling from the ankle to the outside of the knee, working in the outer calf muscle. All of our muscles are 3-dimensional, aren't they? So it's not just top to bottom. We have inner and outer. We have higher and lower. We have front and back. And when we pay attention and we find evenness in the stretch, then that's going to change the way that we use our foot as we carry ourselves forward. that can improve your balance, improve your strength, even improve the mind reaction to those things. Let's turn the toes in the opposite direction. Pulling the heel in, pushing the toes out. And let's revisit the breath. I keep giving that to you because I want you to stay with that and bring all of its benefits into your practice. Let's bring the foot back to center. Just reset right here, pulling all 5 toes through the shin. Pressing out through the heel. Stretching the full arch of the foot. And let's bend the leg. Take the strap away. And you've probably got it in a nice halfway folded position. So if you want to bring it to the front of your shin, and just pull in a bit with the strength of your arms, letting your shoulders settle back behind your body. If everything feels good, let's extend the opposite leg and feel a release and opening in the hip. And please feel free to take your hands and just pull in more tightly. So let's come in once again to that deep Ujjayi breath in and out. Breath you can hear, breath you can feel. Sounds and feels like the ocean behind me right now. Can you take that deep breath down to the side of your waist, under the thigh, and let it start to find a home in your low back? So that this time you are stretching the opposite side of your low back. One more time, breathe in and out at your pace. Let's release the foot, bring both feet down to the ground, and just feel your knees towards the sky. I'd like you to just gently rock those knees from side to side. Let your hands come to the side. Turn the palms up, let the heart lift, let the shoulders open, and then find your stillness, feet on the ground. Let's lift the breath all the way back up to the space in front of the heart. Press the breath back down, all the way down to the tailbone. One more breath like that. Big breath in. Exhaling all the way back down to the tailbone. Reach back and take hold of the back of your thighs and pull those knees in. Your strap is there. It can come right across the front of your shins. And you can use that to pull both knees tightly into your body. You can also bring it right across the back of your thighs if that feels more comfortable for you. So I want you to notice that you're in charge of this. It is normal to feel compressed as your thighs squeeze into your belly. That is what we're going for. But you're also in charge, and that's a really good thing to notice in your body. That you can do things to make yourself more comfortable. You can change your reaction. So if you need to take those legs a little wider, and just kind of nudge the sides of your belly, sides of your waist with those thighs. You're still experimenting with the same sensations, the same movements. And remember, again, this is a sensation-based class. I want you to feel how the breath that moves down to your belly and your ribs creates a little pressure against your abdominal organs and opens the sides of your low back. Let's let the legs down. We're coming back to the first leg, and we're shifting higher into the body. What would be higher if we were standing against the back of the thigh? Placing the strap this time across the arch of the foot. And I want you to first find what is a straight leg for you. So that might, for you, be closer to the shoulder, but likely you're going to squeeze your thigh, push into the strap, and come a little bit away from your shoulder to find an actual straight leg. Let's start with that. Now with that actual straight leg, we're targeting the sensation in the area of your hamstring that is just there by your knee. So if you were standing, it is the area of your thigh on the back of your body that would be just above your knee. Let's find that together. That might mean you take it away a bit, push into your heel, and straighten the leg. Some of you might be very, very tight in your hamstring. Here's how you're going to find it. Or in your calf, actually. Here's how you're going to find it. You're going to just barely soften the knee, and you're going to bring things in a little closer until you feel sensation just below your knee in this lying down position. So hopefully we've gotten there where we feel this across the low part of the hamstring. This is a very strong area of our body. This is the area in our body that has pulled us forward in life to get things done. If you're a cyclist, a runner, a weightlifter, or even if you've just needed to pick up kids and get the house clean, this area of your body reacts to that. And now we're going to let the leg bend a little, just barely, and bring things in a bit closer. Notice what's there in what I'm going to call the belly of your hamstring, moving into the middle of your hamstring. And if things feel a bit tight, I want you to reach back and give a little rub around. We can bring it in even a little closer and notice that that's going to move right up onto our backside, right there behind the hip, on the bones that you sit on. So your sit bones. If everything's feeling good and you want to open the front of your hip, let's lengthen out the thigh. And now think about this with me. I want you to push that hip down. Don't let it lift. This is not a twist. I want you to bring the leg very slightly over towards the opposite shoulder. You'll feel the outside of your thigh. And now listen up. I want you to breathe in really deeply, and on your inhalation, push your hip down. See if you can find a little sensation behind your hip. So we're working through the sides, the top, the bottom, even the middle of the hamstring. Let's take that leg out to the side and find the inner hamstring. Some of you might move a little bit. Some of you might move quite a lot. Some of you might be more comfortable if that opposite leg is bent. Why am I asking you to stretch this portion of your hamstring? Think about how it moves into the side of your knee and the side of the back of the pelvis. If that area is tight on you, that's going to impact the alignment of your knee, right? That's going to cause your knees to cave in. And so opening this up can allow you to move more freely with better alignment. Let's come right back into the center. Slide that strap off, and I'd like you to take a moment. I'm going to just double check on the wind blowing my camera here. Let's make sure that you've got a good angle. All right, so we're going to come into the opposite leg. Strap is coming around the arch of the foot. We press out through our heel. And you might have a tight side. I just found my tight side. This is my lead leg when I teach, my left leg. For you, probably your right. I'm finding my straight leg. And then to get just a little more, I'm going to bring it in closer to my body so that I'm finding the area that is just below my knee. This is that strong pulling area of your hamstring. When this area is very, very strong, it can also pull on the areas that are above it. Sometimes that actually causes a pain for us right there on our backside, on that sit bone that I talked about, where the hamstring comes into your body. So if you have tended to be athletic in your life, and or if you tend to be very bendy, very flexible, opening up this low area of the hamstring is probably very beneficial for you by relieving pressure and tension on the upper hamstring, an area that is weaker and will give, even with the potential for injury. All right, let's bring it in closer. Again, depending on how you feel tension in your particular body, this might mean that you're bending your knee a little more here, and you just are focusing on that sensation from your knee to the back of your hip. And I'm going to invite you to reach down. Just give a little rub round into that area. And even bring things in a little closer and just find that right across, again, that sit bone area. Now let's find how strong we can be in our hips. Push out through the heel, push out through the ball of our foot, push the hip down. Take a big breath in with me. Exhale, push your hip down. And let's just bring the leg across a bit. You're going to feel from the outside of the knee down to the outside of the hip, outer hamstring, maybe even your IT band. Let's focus on our breath in, pushing the hip down, and feel from the tailbone right to the outside of your hip. What's there? And now let's take the leg a little bit wider, moving in the outer direction. Remember, it's okay if you want to bend the opposite leg. Let that come up as you stretch through the inner thigh. If you choose to straighten the opposite leg, you're going to feel that hip releasing on the front of the hip. Still lifting through the rib cage. Relaxing through the shoulders, supporting your posture. That's part of why we have this strap here. And let's bend the knee. Taking the strap off. And pulling both knees in close to the body. Just notice what you notice. Do you want to give any wiggles, any movement? What feels good for you? Let's continue our journey upwards into the center of our body, working through the hips. So bring your leg that you just stretched down to the ground, coming back to the first leg. Crisscrossing the ankle onto the thigh. I want you to press out through the heel of the foot. Bring your hands down right there into the creases between your hips and your thighs. Let's breathe deeply up to the front of the heart. So how does this feel? Can you let your hips settle down underneath your body? Can you push out and make a really active top foot to give yourself space in the knee? And rotating your thigh outward, feel the stretch on the outside of your hip. Now if you're liking this and it all feels good, let's take the strap, bring it right around the back of the thigh and start to pull things in. Maybe you even choose to bring that strap to the front of the shin and give a push with your elbow, helping the thigh to turn outward, inviting greater breath down to your hip. If you feel like you want to move on from the strap, go ahead and reach in. Really pull things close. Let your hips settle down. Let your shoulders release any tension. Come back to the breath that you had right at the beginning of your class today. Your sternum lifts, your rib cage expands, and your belly guides the breath out. Let's switch sides. Same thing from the beginning. Foot comes down, ankle comes to the thigh. There is benefit everywhere along the way. There is no such thing as an easy yoga pose. We notice, we feel, we breathe. Heel is down, thigh presses outward. Back to your base for your breath. Chest lifts, shoulder blades press down under the body. Now let's think about your back, bottom ribs, even slightly lifting to welcome that breath in. You are so welcome to stay right here. Or strap right to the hamstring, pull in closely, push out through the heel, press the thigh away from your body and breathe. And maybe strap right back to the front. Pull in tightly, using the arm to guide the thigh outward. Maybe you choose to take hold without the strap and just gather things in really tightly. Let's bring ourselves back into position, both knees in towards the body. You know how to give yourself what you need. That's part of what your yoga practice does. So you can take hold of the strap and bring it across the front of the shins. I'm going to invite you to take a happy baby pose. We're going to bring the feet towards the sky. Reach our hands up and just take hold of the back of the feet or back of the thighs. Give a little rock. No judgment. Just an opportunity to check in with your breath. Know that even if it traveled today, it's still coming back to you. Let's bring our feet down. As we did at the beginning of class, let's find our home. Shoulders rest into the ground beneath you. Hips rest into the ground beneath you. From your waist to your toes, things feel different. Now I want us to take hold of our little bit of padding, and we're going to bring it behind our shoulders. So just set it back there. And let's settle our body back. Palms up towards the sky. Rib cage open and happy. Hips are settling. Low. If everything feels good, let's extend the legs long. And so as your ribs lift slightly towards the sky, you've got more space to bring breath into your body. And the hard work of your practice is already done. Can you let your mind settle? As your body, your mind, and your breath that have done this work have the opportunity to learn from each other. So that you know that you've already done good work. This is the space between that work and the rest of your life. Let yourself trust this time. And in a moment, you'll move forward. You'll move into the space that is in front of you, bringing in this work that is also behind you. And before you do that, I invite you to bring in whatever's meaningful for you. So is there an image, words, mantras, prayers, emotions? What speaks to you? On your next breath in, I want you to bring that into your body. Draw it in, see it, hear it, say it, feel it, however you do that. Exhale and feel your cells absorb all of that. And on your next breath in, let's just reach that breath all the way to our fingers, all the way to our toes. You can bring life and movement into those areas, and we'll start to move forward. Let's bring our feet to the ground. Gently roll over to our side. Let your eyes open softly. And we've got lovely strength in our arms. Let's use that to lift ourselves up with the strength in the center of our body and find a comfortable seated position. And just let yourself come into this moment. Bring 2 fingers to the sides of your temples and lift your skull up. Feel how long and open your spine is. We're coming up from the ground. However that works for you. You've got a chair here, or we can lean forward and just press into the ground and lift ourselves up. I hope that you've enjoyed this class. I hope that there are pieces of it that you'll bring into your life and into your body to make things feel better, stronger, and more aligned, and that you'll look for more classes to enjoy soon. Again, my name is Joli, joining you from beautiful Puerto Morelos, Mexico, and I hope that you've enjoyed this wonderful restorative yoga class today.